So you've probably heard of a power or a square root before, and you might have heard them as other names, such as powers can also be called indices or exponents. And all that means is it's a number that's up here in what's called a superscript of a number. So it's the one that's above the number. And what does this actually mean? Well, what it means is we multiply 2 twice, like this, and we get 4. Say if we had 5, we'd go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, write it down 5 times, and we're going to put that into our calculator. So on your calculator, the way you do it is there's a little button here that says X with a square, and stick in 5, you get 32. So why do we write down this instead of this? Mainly because it means we don't have to write down a lot of things, and it's a lot easier to look at than all these numbers multiplied by each other. And we also have some rules that we can do when we can see it more clearly, like this. So what are these rules? The first rule is I'll do this with letters if that's okay, and then I'll show you with some numbers. So what the rule says is a to the m multiplied by a to the n is equal to a to the m plus n. So what does that mean? If we have two numbers a which are the same number on the bottom, remember the same base, say 2 multiplied by 2, and they both have a power, say, I don't know, 3 and 7, then it's equal to, and we just have to write down all the things that we had over here. So a was 2, m was 3, plus n, which is 7. So that's 2 to the power of 10, which is going to equal 1024. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. All that says is when we're multiplying two numbers, which both have a power, and they're both the same number on the bottom, they have to be the same base number, we just add the powers together. And then you can do it that way. So let's just check it out to see if we're 100% sure on that. What's 2 to the power of 3 is 8, multiplied by 2 to the power of 7, which is 128. So what's 8 times 128? It's 1024. Okay, so it works out. Basically, you just have to add the powers together if you're multiplying two numbers. That's the first rule. Rule number 2 is to do with division. So this time, we use the same letters again. We have a to the m over a to the n. So again, the same kind of idea, but they're being divided this time. And this is equal to a to the m minus n. So it's the same, but with minuses. So let's do it with, say, 3 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 1 is equal to 3 to the power of 5 minus 1, which is equal to 3 to the power of 4. And what will that end up being? It will be 81. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. If we're multiplying, they add together. If we're dividing, they take away. Now we have one more situation that we might see ourselves in. And that's if we have something like 4 to the power of 3, and then it's actually all, this bracket is to the power of 2, say. So in this situation, we have to do something different. So this is where we have a to the m times n, or to the power of n, is equal to a to the m multiplied by n. Okay, so what would it be over here? It would be 4 to the power of 3 times 2, which is 6. And 4 to the power of 6 is 4096. So those are our 3 rules. If you are multiplying two different things, we're adding. If you're dividing, you're minusing. And if you're powering a power, if that makes sense, we are multiplying the powers. Okay, so now square roots and how do they tie in? So you've probably heard of a square root and seen a square root before. It looks like this. It's a funny looking thing. And all this means is whatever in here, what this square root finds out is what number we have to multiply by itself to get this number. So let's say it's 9. What number do I have to multiply by itself to get 9? 3 times 3 is 9. So the square root of 3, or square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so what that means is this is 3 times 3 will get you that 9. But what's the square root? What is it? What is it actually doing? What is it doing? And how it links to our powers is the square root. All it actually is just a symbol for to the power of a half, which if you do it in your calculator is 3. I'll show you here. 9 to the power of a half is equal to 3. So that's all that's doing, really, is multiplying, or it's putting something to the power of a half. So we have one other little thing we have to look at, and it's really important when it comes to powers. And it's a really quick trick that you won't have to do anything on a calculator to be able to figure this out. Is that a to 0 is equal to 1. Now what does that mean? That means any number, this could be 5, 7, 2000, whatever, to the power of 0 is going to be 1. And let's test that out. So anything to the power of 0 is 1. So let's say 500, 5000 even, to the power of 0, it's 1. 137, 1. 140, 1. So no matter what you do, you're going to get 1. So that's a helpful rule if you're ever come up with that kind of a question. You don't have to go and do your calculator or think about it. You can just write down 1. So that's square roots and powers.